Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the staggering rise of Reliance Industries, and we're going to extract the ultimate startup playbook from their history. If you've ever wanted to know exactly how to build an absolute market-dominating empire from the ground up, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break down the exact strategies that created one of the most powerful business ecosystems on the planet. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, to really wrap our heads around the immense scale of the success we're analyzing today, consider this one wild metric. Mukesh Ambani earns around 1 crore rupees every 10 minutes. Every single 10 minutes. While you're watching this, he's just made another crow. He has amassed a net worth of over $122 billion, positioning him as the 11th richest person globally. Actually, to put that into perspective, if we exclude American billionaires from the list entirely, he's the second richest individual in the entire world. Okay, let's talk about what that incomprehensible wealth actually looks like in practice. The Ambani Empire's extravagance is, frankly, just staggering. We're talking about their famous Mumbai residence, Antilia. It's a 27-floor mega mansion spanning 37,000 square meters. It literally features its own temples, salons, spas, theaters, gyms, helipads, and a multi-level luxury car showroom. And the spending definitely doesn't stop at real estate. For Anant Ambani's wedding, an estimated 5,000 crore rupees were spent. They even paid international pop star Justin Bieber 80 crore rupees for a single brief performance. So this establishes our stakes. But honestly, spending money is the easy part. The real question we are answering today is how this monumental fortune was actually built in the first place. So here is the game plan. Today's explainer operates like a masterclass, breaking down Reliance's historical milestones into definitive business rules you can apply to your own entrepreneurial journey. We'll be looking at strategic pivots, backward integration, modern dominance, and we'll wrap up with a pretty sobering cautionary tale. Let's start right at the foundation with Startup Lesson 1, Strategic Pivots. You see, the Reliance empire wasn't actually started by Mukesh. It was founded by his father, Dhirubhai Ambani. Dhirubhai didn't start out as a billionaire with endless VC funding. In 1950, he traveled to Yemen looking for a good job and ended up working as an import/export clerk. He spent 8 long years there, meticulously learning the inner workings of global trade. In 1958, he returned to India, armed with that hard-earned experience, and launched a spice trading company called Reliance Commercial Corporation, exporting spices to the Middle East and Africa. But he didn't stop there. He leveraged that initial success to pivot entirely into the manufacturing sector in 1966, launching Reliance Textiles. And get this, his brand grew so incredibly powerful that by 1987, Reliance became the title sponsor for the Cricket World Cup. This brings us to a massive lightbulb moment, illustrating our first major business lesson. When Dhirubhai entered the textile industry, the Indian government had placed some really strict regulations on cotton manufacturing, which basically threw the entire industry into a massive crisis. But instead of fighting a losing battle against government policy, Dhirubhai executed a classic, agile startup maneuver. He pivoted away from cotton and began utilizing synthetic textiles. Why? Because the chemical process for synthetics was completely unregulated at the time. Not only did this allow him to entirely bypass those strict government policies, but the resulting fabric was significantly cheaper to produce and became highly popular with everyday consumers. He literally turned a massive industry roadblock into his greatest advantage. That level of agility sets us up perfectly for Startup Lesson 2, Backward Integration. Now, think about how Reliance solved a massive supply chain bottleneck that threatened to stall their growth. Step 1. Dhirubhai realized his massive textile operation required a constant, heavy stream of petrochemicals. At the time, he had to purchase all of this from outside industries. Step 2. He recognized that this dependency was a huge vulnerability. So what did he do? He decided to cut out the third-party middleman entirely. Step 3. He gathered the capital and just built his own petrochemical plant. Instead of relying on external suppliers for those vital chemicals, he used backward integration. He fed his textile business directly from his own chemical plants, which effectively kept all of those juicy profit margins completely in-house. A real game changer. This operational mastery leads us right into Startup Lesson 3, Modern Expansion and Dominance. Following Dhirubhai's passing in 2002, which unfortunately happened without a clear will, a really bitter dispute erupted between his sons, Mukesh and Anil. Their mother eventually had to intervene, resulting in a 2005 split of the massive conglomerate. Mukesh Ambani gained control of the oil, gas, petrochemicals, and manufacturing divisions. Now, Mukesh took those assets and operated with a mindset of complete dominance. He didn't just passively manage his dad's foundational assets, he completely turbocharged them. Take his share of the business, specifically the Jammunara petroleum refinery.
He completely upgraded its production capabilities, installing state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities to transform it into the absolute largest petroleum refinery in the world. He maximized his foundational profits to build an undeniable war chest. And with that massive cash flow secured, he systematically built a self-sustaining ecosystem across India. His goal was to ensure that consumers interact with a Reliance business every single day. He expanded his moat by conquering the retail sector, launching smart bazaar discount stores and supermarts where consumers could grab all their items at discounted rates under one roof. He dominated the sports sector by acquiring the most expensive IPL team, the Mumbai Indians, back in 2008, a team that, by the way, generated record profits even during the pandemic. And most recently, in 2024, he secured a truly massive $8.5 billion media deal with the American entertainment giant Disney to create India's largest media company. But his most aggressive move to capture market share is perfectly represented by this staggering number: 100 million. This brilliantly illustrates the raw power of disruptive pricing. When Mukesh launched the telecom network Jio in 2016, he approached the market with a completely unprecedented strategy. He offered initial services like data and calling completely for free, zero cost. Consumers absolutely flocked to buy Jio SIM cards, allowing him to acquire 100 million users in just 170 days. By offering free and ultra-cheap data, the Jio effect spread like wildfire. It absolutely decimated the competition, forcing several legacy telecom companies to shut their doors entirely because they just couldn't compete with free. He captured the market so completely that Jio went on to launch a massive 5G network and is now already pioneering 6G technology alongside global tech giants. It is an absolute masterclass in building a monopoly. But to truly understand the complete Reliance playbook, we need to flip the coin. That brings us to Startup Lesson 4, the cautionary tale. To fully grasp what makes a strategy successful, we have to contrast Mukesh's calculated synergistic ascent with the tragic financial downfall of his younger brother, Anil Ambani. Let's look at this comparison here. When the empire was divided, Anil also received billions in assets, but their paths went in completely different directions. While Mukesh built a deeply integrated synergistic ecosystem by scaling his core strengths, Anil's strategy was rapid, disjointed expansion into completely unrelated sectors. Mukesh made absolutely sure to dominate one sector completely before leveraging it for the next. Anil, conversely, leaped headfirst into highly volatile, high-risk sectors like infrastructure without establishing a strong foundational moat. For example, let's look at Anil's telecom venture, Reliance Communications. He tried to take on entrenched telecom giants like Airtel and Vodafone head-on. But unlike his brother's Jio strategy years later, Anil lacked a unique disruptive advantage. He was battling seasoned industry players right out of the gate, leading to skyrocketing expenses without the necessary profit margins to sustain the fight. So, the crucial takeaway here is that this reckless scaling without a safety net culminated in an absolute disaster. Because his investments were so concentrated in high-risk sectors without stable, diversified backups, he had literally nothing to fall back on when things inevitably went wrong. His bad timing and aggressive spending led to some catastrophic legal battles. He was sued by the company Ericsson, and a Mumbai court ordered him to clear all his dues or face arrest. In what feels like a cinematic twist, it was his older brother Mukesh who had to step in at the very last minute and pay the funds just to bail Anil out of going to jail. And the hits kept coming. A UK court later ordered Anil to pay $719 million to Chinese banks. Ultimately, this chaotic strategy led Anil Ambani to officially declare to a court that his net worth had fallen to exactly zero. Which brings us to our final, overarching thought for this explainer. Think about it. One brother is worth $122 billion, while the other fell to zero, and they both started from the exact same starting line. As you build your own startup or scale up your career, you really have to ask yourself, are you scaling with calculated synergy, creating a deeply integrated moat like Mukesh? Or are you chasing rapid, unrelated expansion, just diluting your focus until you spread yourself to zero like Anil? It's a profound lesson in focus, agility, and the true mechanics of market dominance. Thank you so much for exploring the Reliance playbook with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.